Bits of news. Well, we know that you're launching Bat Hell tomorrow.
Yes.
Looking forward to it.
Tomorrow is going to be the launch. There's going to be about 40 motorcycles on St. Martin's Lane. We're closing it all down in front of the Coliseum. And I'm hoping we cause a little bit of disruption in the traffic and people's ordinary daily lives on a Thursday.
I'm sure you will.
Yeah.
How did you get the role? When did you find out?
I heard about an audition for Bat Out of Hell the musical about last year around this time, and I loved the song Paradise by the Dashboard Light, so I prepared a lot for it, and I listened to the whole album, and I fell in love with it. And then I kept getting called back audition after audition, and eventually got the lead role in it. So it's been really a dream come true to, I guess, fill some meaty footsteps.
Yeah. And how do you think it translates, that album, to modern day?
Oh, I mean, beautifully. I mean, modern day and the past, it's all about love, and this musical has such a strong message of love throughout it. And you can see in the songs that they're mostly all about romantic Romeo and Juliet, Peter Pan, or whatever romantic thing you might be into.
Is this the highest profile role that you've been involved with?
It is, yes.
You know, nervous, I guess?
Oh, yes. Excited, nervous, thrilled. I don't know. All of the above, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, congratulations and thanks a lot for your time.
Awesome.
I hope to speak to you soon.
Thank you so much. Talk to you soon.
Cheers.
Hello, this is Paul Stokes backstage at the 2016 Q Awards. I've been joined by this year's Q hero, Meatloaf. Congratulations.
Well, thank you very much.
When was the first time you were called Meatloaf? Do you remember?
Yeah, I'm going to give this over to Andrew. Andrew, who's playing the lead in the musical Bat Out of Hell.
We'll come to him in a sec. Let's just do you.
Okay, so I have to give it to you. I wasn't old enough to remember this. I just know the story. When I was born bright red. Normally, babies are born red, and they put them under some lights. A couple hours, they're not red anymore. I stayed red for about 8-9 days. And on the 4th day, my father, who was a Dallas policeman, came into where the nursery was, and he said to the nurses, "My son there looks like 9.5 pounds of ground chuck. So I want you to put on the front of his crib, I want you to put meat." And I'm sure the nurses went, "Sir, we really can't do that." But now he's a policeman in uniform, and he goes, "Yes, you can. So I want you to make up that sign." So the nurses, they made up that sign, and they put it right there in that little plastic slot. And then my father said, "Now you move that crib to the middle, so that every time anybody comes to see their baby, they see meat." And that's the story.
And you've never looked back? Center of attention?
I've tried to look back. And then in the 8th grade, I stepped on a coach's foot, and he screamed, "Get off my foot, you hunk of meatloaf." And if you're in the 8th grade in Texas, everything is funny. And so the next day on my locker was meatloaf. And unlike a lot of people, and it makes me insane, and I want to go to their house and break their windows, it's 2 words. And the 8th graders, who are 12 years old, they were smart enough to write it as 2 words. And people who write it as 1 word, after seeing it on Facebook as 2 words and saying how much they love my albums, and on every album it's 2 words, you can tell the one thing I hate more than anything in my life is meatloaf as 1 word. In fact, it's the only thing I hate.
That's fair enough. And we're talking of your album.
There's one other thing, beats.
You don't like
beats?
Okay.
No.
We're talking of your albums. Bat Out of Hell is a classic, and it's getting a new lease of life. Tell us what's happening and introduce us to Andrew.
Okay, this is Andrew.
How do you do?
How you doing?
And that is Jim Steinman wrote Bat Out of Hell. Now, Jimmy's dream, before I met him, probably 5 years before I met him, and we started to work together, he had a play called Dream Engine in college. So this would have been about 68. So from 1968 to 2000, and now it won't open till 17, his dream has been to make a musical. And it had several different names along the way. It's now called Bat Out of Hell. And Andrew will play the lead, called Strat.
No pressure?
Oh, it's a huge pressure. I mean, singing these songs that have been turned into, I shouldn't use the word legends, but by such an amazing rock and roll star that has given birth to these songs, essentially, is such a huge undertaking to step into big, meaty footsteps.
Well, best of luck with the project, and congratulations on your award. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Meatloaf and Andrew Pollock, great to see you. How you doing today?
Doing well. How about you?
All very good.
No,
Very good.
no, loaf is not loaf, it's loaf.
Loaf, meat
Meat,
loaf.
meat, loaf.
Thank you.
No, I'm just kidding you. Just kidding you.
I was there at the Q Awards. We had a brief chat with both of you last night. Did you have a good time?
Yeah? I had a good time. They just put somebody between me and Andrew. Oh, Francis was between me and Andrew. It wasn't somebody. It was Francis. But
good.
I wanted to talk to Andrew.
Yeah. I mean, we're here today at the London Coliseum for Bat.
But I'm glad Francis was between us, because without Francis, I'm lost.
Good. Well, she's nearby, luckily. We're here for the Bat Out Hell, the musical launch. Is it a proud moment for both of you?
Well, I'm sure it is for him. For me, it is an incredible moment to be with somebody and work with somebody that is your friend and someone that you really love for 42 years. To see somebody's dream of Jim Steinman, who's my friend, somebody I love, see his dream actually come true. And for somebody like Andrew, who hasn't been around us for 50 years, for 42 years, for him to be involved with something like this has got to be amazing for him. So now you can get his opinion.
Yeah, I mean, what has the rehearsal process and this sort of whirlwind that you've been involved in been like?
Oh, the rehearsal process has been an absolute whirlwind. I mean, even coming over from America to London and adjusting to this whole new cultural world has been absolutely incredible. And I also did a workshop of this musical, or a showcase, last year. So I came in with a little more experience of knowing the story and having sung the songs for a little longer than everyone else. However, we're all super thrilled to be doing the launch today.
Yeah, I mean, it's a romantic tale of rebellious youth. Is it something, it's a production for all ages?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, it's like, that's like asking the question, is Mozart somebody for all ages? Jimmy is one of the greatest writers ever to live. It doesn't make any difference what age you are. And I can prove that because I will fill up the O2 here from anybody from teenagers to people who are in their 70s. So, and because these songs touch the human spirit and emotion, and it's not just a brief touch. I mean, they really you really feel them. And you feel them long after you've left them. And they live with you forever.
And that's all in Jim's writing.
Yeah.
It's an immense talent to have. There's no doubt. How would you sum up his work?
What?
How would you sum his writing skills up?
He's one of the best 10 writers ever to live in the world. Without a doubt.
When the album was first launched, did you know that it was going to completely change your life?
No, it hadn't yet. I refused to allow it. Other than people want my autograph, or, you know, there's a lot of people screaming at me sometimes. No, I didn't let it change my life. It changed my life in the fact that I do interviews and things like that. But as far as being a different person, no. I refuse to allow that to happen.
Well, wise decision. What about yourself? Do you feel a weight of responsibility now that you're involved in the progression of this juggernaut of a musical?
I don't think I'd call it so much of a weight as just an exciting opportunity to delve into such a classic and eternally relevant piece of art.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So why should everyone rush out and come to see Bat Out of Hell the musical?
Because first of all, Bat Out of Hell has sold close to 50 million records. Second of all, Bat 2 sold close to 27 million. That alone should keep the theater full for many years. But the real reason is because an outstanding cast like Andrew and some of the others, and an amazing script. And it will leave you feeling something. It's useless going to the theater and walking out feeling nothing. It's like going to a bad movie. This is not a bad movie. This is a great piece of music.
Excellent. What would you say to get? Why should we come down?
I think this music and this story will reach out and touch your soul.
Fantastic. Thanks a lot for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers.
So we're backstage at the Q Awards again and joined by the Q Hero of 2016, Meatloaf. How does it feel to get a title like that?
Well, I like to think that everyone can be a hero.
Yeah.
And that's what I said on stage. You can be a hero every day just by helping someone, by saying thank you, by saying you're welcome, by opening a door, by just having manners and being a good human being.
Yeah.
Help the less fortunate and just have a heart.
Sure.
And put some love in that heart and give it back.
I couldn't have summed it up better myself. Now, some very exciting news with you right now.
Yeah,
Bat Out of Hell. And that's why we need to bring Andrew in.
This is Andrew.
How you doing?
And Andrew is going to play the lead in Jimmy's musical,
Yeah.
Bat Out of Hell. I'm very proud of him.
How did you come to casting Andrew? Was it something that you all worked on together?
I went to them and told them that they didn't cast Andrew, that I was going to hit him over with my cane.
There we go then. How do you find the experience, Andrew, of sort of getting into the character? Obviously, you guys spend a lot of time together at these sort of things.
I obviously have done a lot of research and watched a lot of his performances throughout all these 40 years in the making. So it's been amazing.
The musical starts early 2017, isn't it?
I think it starts February, doesn't it?
Yeah, it starts in February in Manchester, and then we go to the London Coliseum in June.
Wow.
Yes, press
Incredibly
night's
exciting.
20th of June.
Wow.
So,
And it'll run for about 20 years after that.
Hopefully so. Thanks so much for your time, guys.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
My body, they're flying away like a bat out of hell.
It was hailed as a breakthrough album and has sold more than 40 million copies worldwide. Now Bat Out of Hell is hitting the London stage. The rock musical will open at the Coliseum in June 2017.
Somebody somewhere must be tolling a bell.
But audiences were given a sneak peek of the action, introduced by Meat Loaf himself. He paid tribute to longtime collaborator Jim Steinman and explained why this project was decades in the making.
It took a long time because Jimmy wanted a certain script, and he was bound and determined to get this script, a certain style of script done. And he had different people write them, and they were horrible. I'm telling you, they were horrible. I've got scripts that he's written that were brilliant, but would have cost a fortune to put on. So I think this script covers what Jimmy wanted to say all along.
Bat Out of Hell, the musical, is described as a story of youth, love and rebellion set in a dystopian city. The lead character is the head of a gang and falls in love with the daughter of a tyrannical ruler.
Appreciate you, yeah. Please, will we hear again from Meat Loaf?
Let me just say this. I'm just going to say something Michael didn't. This has been Jim Steinman's dream for 50 years. And from my friend of 42 years and somebody who I love dearly, to see his dream finally come true is truly, truly remarkable.
London, put your hands together and welcome Andrew Pollock and the cast of Jim Steinman's Bat Out of Hell, the musical!
crawling on back to you.
And the cast of We're Gonna Do This Together. You ready for this? Ready. Bat Out of Hell, the musical!
It's a musical that's taken more than 40 years to make it to the stage. Bat Out of Hell, the album that sold millions of copies worldwide, was originally written as a musical. Titled Neverland, it never made it to the theatre. But the time has finally come for the iconic songs made famous by Meat Loaf to make it to the West End. But first, the musical has its world premiere right here in Manchester next February.
Where so much music has come out of this city, that, and especially rock music, that it was the perfect place to launch as a world premiere here before we moved on to London or Broadway or wherever else. This was a fantastic place to start.
Tony Smith is the producer for the musical.
Great to see something like this come to fruition. You know, it's been getting the right story, getting the right director, getting the right set, getting the right cast. It's been a fantastic process, and in Andrew we found a fantastic singer. And the rest of the cast, some great voices in the cast.
The man himself was in attendance. Meatloaf was quick to heap all his praise on creator Jim Steinman.
For me, it almost makes me cry because Jim has been my best friend and someone who I love dearly from almost 42 years.
The cast are all relatively new to the professional stage, but at this launch they stunned the crowds and had fans eager to snap up tickets.
I love it. I wasn't expecting to, you know, I thought, but yeah, I love it and I'm booking tickets for it.
Just been texting my sister-in-law in Australia and told her that Meatloaf's here, and she said if I can get over next year I'll definitely come over and she will get her a ticket for her as well.
The audience is all revved up with no place to go, at least until February the 17th, when the doors to the Opera House will be flown open and Bat Out of Hell will hit the stage. Abby Smitten, that's Manchester.